Time and money are the eternal trade-offs. Today we have the author of a book called The Net Present Value of Life, which is a financial novel. The author is Ottawa-based Michael Lauro. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks very much.
Now, I read your book. I thought it's very interesting. As you can see, there's a park bench here, and that's where all the action takes place. So tell me, how does a park bench relate to this strange title?
Well, that's essentially the setting for the whole book. The main character is a fellow named Charles, who lunches in a park, sitting at a park bench with his iPod, listening to music.
He's a financial guy.
He's a financial guy. He's a financial analyst, 40-odd years old, miserable, can't stand his job, rues his career choice. And one day he meets this woman who's a lot older than he is, almost 70. Her name is Faye. And they start talking about life and time and money and happiness and careers. And she's got some rather perverse, in his opinion, views on the meaning of a happy life or a successful life. And again, the park bench is where they sit every lunch hour for almost 2 months and talk about all of these issues.
Now, essentially, he's like many people. He's sort of doing a job, grinding it out, trying to get a big retirement kitty so that he can have a good time later.
Correct.
And Faye basically says that's a mistake.
That's what exactly. She may not say it's a mistake. The mistake part is that he's absolutely miserable doing this. He's deferring his happiness. And so that's what she begins to question is, why are you deferring living your meaningful life? You can't stand what you're doing. You're really just in it for a paycheck. You're in it for the security because he's got the pension plan and the health plan and all of these other items that he's perceives as being secure. And so that's what she's questioning. She's saying, well, how valuable is today compared to this future that you're deferring, where you're saying, I'm going to be happy when I retire, then I'll do all the things that I like doing. And that's what the net present value of life means. It means, what is today worth? Because we're certain about today, we're certain about where we are and our relationships and everything else. And how certain is 10 or 20 years from now? Will you even be around? Will you be healthy? Will your loved ones be around? And so that's what she starts questioning is, again, the trade-off, as you mentioned, between time and this financial security down the road.
And in fact, I think you reference, or at least you credit the book, Your Money or Your Life.
Yes. I think that book really hit home for me. I read that book years and years and years ago.
Vicki Robin and Joe Domagay.
That's right, yeah. And I was really, really intrigued by that book. And that's, I think, one of the first books I ever read that started to kind of gnaw away in the back of my mind about, oh, wait a minute, they're onto something here.
Which is all about life energy.
Yeah.
That you're expending a certain amount of life energy every time you come up with some money, and you should think twice about spending money if you say, is it worth spending all my life energy for this thing?
False happiness. I think that's the other piece of it, is that a lot of folks are thinking, well, I'm going to buy this thing because, I'm not in a pleasant situation right now, whatever that, unpleasant situation is. So I'm going to reward myself with a fancy car or a bigger house. And that's what the book, Your Money or Your Life, really starts to question is, how much happiness really are you going to derive from some of these materialistic things? Sometimes none at all.
Now, as a financial analyst, Charles, your character, is familiar with the concept of the time value of money.
Yes.
But what Faye introduces is the notion of the time value of life. Can you just kind of compare the two as our last question for this segment?
Sure. The time value of money, of course, identifies what a dollar is worth 20 years from now. It's used in banking, it's used in finance, it's certainly used in accounting. We try to identify what a dollar, down the road, 10 or 20 years from now, whatever that period is worth. And so what Faye says is, well, what's a day worth 10 or 20 years from now? What's a day worth, today versus a day 10 years from now? Again, there's certainty about today. We know where we stand today. We know what's going on. Whereas 10 years from now, or whatever the period is down the road, there is absolutely no certainty about what a day will be like for us. It may be wonderful, which is what we're all hoping, and certainly, that's my hope as well. Or it may not be. And, how many people have said, oh, if only I knew then. How many times have we heard that? And that's what Faye really is addressing.
It's a bit like, Be Here Now, Ram Dass, or the Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Exactly. There are so many books, and there's so many, there's all kinds of workshops and seminars and sessions that deal with these issues. And so what I've done is I've also kind of taken it to another level in the sense that I'm also bringing the money conversation into it, in that Charles is hanging on to these, as I said, these plans that he's got, these pension plans and health plans, because financially he's secure. And so Faye is essentially saying, well, look, let's look at all this. Let's put the whole thing into the mix, and let's include the money aspect. And there's also a big perceptual issue with money. It's not only about the money; it's how do we perceive money, and that's the other element that Faye brings into the equation that Charles never really considered before.
Okay, coming to the end of this segment. Next time we're going to look at some of the philosophical underpinnings to your book, such as neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes, you could say it way better than I can.
Thank you, Michael Lauro.
Thanks very much, John.